Well, welcome back to another edition of the Common Constitutionalist weekly video podcast. And as you can see, I am indoors today because it's yucky and raining and cold out there. It's weird. This is typical New England weather. It will, on Monday and Tuesday, I think it was 90 and 89 degrees or something like that. And now tonight it's supposed to go down to 36 degrees, be sunny and 70 tomorrow, but today it's 50 and raining. So this is why, and this is why it seems like a lot of people in New England get ill around this time of year, because the weather is just so freaky. I mean, it could be 90 tomorrow, and in a week it could be that we could have 6 inches of snow on the ground. That's how odd New England is. But you know what? We don't have any hurricanes. We've got some heavy snows every once in a while, but there's no tornadoes, there's no hurricanes, there's no floods, tsunamis, earthquakes, or anything else. So I guess we don't really have a whole lot to complain about up here. Relatively speaking, it's pretty safe. So anyway, today I want to talk about some foosball with my friends. Here we go with the NFL again. I think I've written twice, maybe 3 times about that this week alone, but it makes me ill. It makes me sick to my stomach because I love me some NFL football. But I got to tell you, I, like many others, have started to make the leap to college. I watched college football, kinda. But now I'm watching more college football. As a matter of fact, I just turned the TV off to watch because I was watching 3 games and almost simultaneously on 3 separate channels. And that's another nice thing about college football as opposed to NFL. There's at least a half a dozen games on if you want to watch them. And you could just, picture all sorts of nonsense, or tape some and watch them later, or just flip through like I do. If there's a commercial break on one, I flip to another channel, watch about 10 minutes of that, turn it back, whatever. I'm becoming more and more of a college football fan. The atmosphere is better. There aren't as many chumps either on the sideline or on the field, crouching like a dog, urinating on the field like what's-his-face for the New York Giants, the dope for the New York Giants did. And this makes me sick. And it makes a lot of football fans, diehard football fans like me. I'm not going to stop watching the NFL just because I love me some NFL. But I am going to curtail it for sure. And I'm certainly, at this point, unless something changes, there's no way I'm watching any pregame, and no way I'm watching the start of any game. Not going to happen. That's what I choose to do. Turning the channel until I know I'm not going to watch the pregame, because we know what it's going to be all about. They're going to talk a little football, and they're going to talk a lot of social justice. Yeah. So let's get into this thing. This is, I think it might have been from IBD, although I'm not sure what it was, but it's about the NFL again, and the chumps that play the game, and the owners that are chumps also. So that's what we're going to be talking about today on the Common Constitutionalist.
You are listening?
No, you limey. They're not listening. They're watching.
The Common Constitutionalist, broadcasting from an undisclosed location, free from the prying eyes of establishment black helicopters.
Okay, so welcome back. And this is from my notes. This was, in fact, the notes that I printed out were from IBD. So let's get right into this. IBD writes NFL to this is the entitled. What the article was entitled. NFL to fans, drop dead. How's that for a lack of respect? True. NFL protests, whether you agree with them or not. The NFL players and the executives that run the National Football League have really stepped in it. And they aren't kidding. They sure have. Damaging their brand and alienating millions of fans and potential fans for no real good reason. It was a classic mistake. And you're right, there is no real good reason that they're doing this. It might have it actually never even started out as a real good reason, because the social justice warriors that are actually driving this campaign, like Colin Kaepernick's fiance or wife or girlfriend or whatever the crap she is, who corrupted him, who corrupted his mind. He went from basically a good guy football player to a social justice warrior because she drove him to it. Now that you could say, well, that's pretty weak-willed. Well, maybe it is, maybe it ain't. I don't know. People do some silly things because of love, and he sure stepped in it on that one. That's what originally drove this, was social justice, just ridiculousness. Now what's driving this is peer pressure. Pure and simple, peer pressure. Peer pressure from the players to other players, peer pressure from the body of the players to the owners and the NFL. And because it's a race, because it's the black race, that's the social justice warriors that are protesting, you can't say a damn thing. Excuse my French, but you just can't. Because if you do, what are you labeled? The old liberal go-to, racist. There you go. So the NFL has taken a tact not to say anything, not to do anything, and just let them do what they do. And it's just completely ridiculous, and they're right. It may not ruin the game, but it sure is going to stain it for a while. And they go through the ratings and whatnot later on in this article of how the ratings have slumped. And people just don't want to watch this crap. They want to go to be entertained. All right, people's lives, a lot of people's lives, are busy. My life is busy. I'm going, I'm working, I'm doing something all the time. And when I sit down, I want to get away. And I want to watch a football game because I love me some football. I don't want to watch social justice warriors linking arms and kneeling and doing all sorts of crap because they think America's just plain old mean. Nobody wants that, and that's why the league is suffering right now. But there's nothing they can do about it unless they stand up and say, you know what, I am not a racist. You guys are idiots. Get up off your knees and go play the game. Shut up and play. Like it or not, they continue. Like it or not, and whether it's fair or not, many Americans feel that professional athletes as a whole lead a privileged existence, working only part of the year and earning millions for their efforts. Well, not anymore. It used to be, but I know at least for football, it's a year-round career. You never stop training. You never stop learning. You never stop working out. It just is what it is. But that's your job, and you get paid very handsomely for the most part. I think the average salary in the NFL is like $2.4 million. That ain't bad for somebody who a lot of these guys that play in the NFL, they couldn't otherwise do anything else. They don't really have careers after that, so they have to make as much money as they can. You can't blame them for that. Okay, so at any rate, where was I? When they're seen leading protests by disrespecting the flag and the national anthem and all the high ideals and sacrifices those symbols represent, it's just too much. And it is too much for a lot of people. Frankly, if I can digress again, you know, symbols are just symbols. All right, I love America. I am a diehard, dyed-in-the-wool American. I served, and I was proud to do so. And frankly, I probably would have still been in if it wasn't for the crapola red tape politics involved in the military. Because I liked what I did, and I enjoyed it, and I learned a lot. And I had some really good friends in the military. But, man, the politics, it just... You think if any of you people work at a large company and you know what the kind of red tape it is to get anything done in the politics, office politics and whatnot, try the military sometime. Holy crap, it's ridiculous. But it's just like any other governmental organization. It's just full of rules and regulations and nonsense. Anyway, I digress again. What I meant to say was symbols. They are just that. The national anthem, if they took it away tomorrow, I'll still sleep at night knowing that I'm a proud American. If they never read the Pledge of Allegiance again, I'd still sleep at night knowing that I'm a proud American, and if I had to, I would go fight for this country again. Because it's the idea and ideals of America. It's not the symbols, okay? The symbols represent something, I granted. But if someone wants to burn a flag or stomp on a flag or whatnot, I'm going to let them. You know why? Because it's just a bloody symbol. I'm not going to lock them up, and I'm not going to protest them, because I just don't care. Because it doesn't make me any less of an American to stand by and watch somebody burn the flag. Matter of fact, frankly, it's their right to do so if they want to do so, because it's just a symbol. The idea and the ideals are here and here of America. That's what makes you an American, not that you stand for the flag and not that you sing the national anthem. That's just my opinion. Like it or love it or not or hate it. A lot of people do. Too bad. All right, so yes, Trump intentionally tweaked the football players on Friday, last Friday, not just this past Friday, but the Friday before, after his back and forth with NBA champion Golden State Warriors led to the president disinviting them from the White House. That was a little petty. I'm sorry. I know there are a lot of Trumpsters out there, and he can do no wrong in some people's eyes. I don't see it that way. Sorry about that. But this is just petty bullcrap. You're the president of the United States. It's one thing to get down and dirty with Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and these scumbags in Congress and whatnot, but just leave everything else alone. There's just simply no need for it. A lot of people love him because of this, because he's a fighter and he's going to fight for us. I don't need you to fight for me on this. Whether the Golden State Warriors, if that's the tradition, let them come. Be magnanimous. Be the bigger man. Whatever. Trump then turned his attention to the NFL players for taking a knee in protest. And again, he's got every right to do it if he wants to. And he was also taken out of context and misquoted on this by virtually everybody on the left who took and ran with this thing. Wouldn't you love to see, this is Trump, wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of a B off the field right now, out. He's fired, Trump said last Friday. There's nothing wrong with saying something like that. It's just his opinion. President Schmesident, in this particular case, it's just his opinion, all right? And he's welcome to it. You don't have to like it. Who cares? I don't particularly like it either. I don't care one way or the other. Just let them play the game. I don't care what else they do on this nonsense. I'll just tune them out. Doesn't matter to me. But he's welcome to say it. And he's right. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The NFL is a private business, and they can do with it what they want, and the owners own the teams, and they own the contracts of these players. And if they want to dictate something, by gosh, they should be able to dictate. Well, no, they should be able to. They can dictate what they want. If they want everybody on the sidelines with their hands over their heart, or you're gone, or we trade you, or we just cut you, that's their prerogative. It's their team. All right? They paid gazillions of dollars in upkeep and everything to support this team. They can do with it what they want. Trump continued, some owner is going to do that, fire some player. No, he's not. He's going to say that guy that disrespects our flag, he's fired. And that owner, they don't know it, but they'll be the most popular person in the country. Well, he's right in that account, that if some owner actually did stand up and say, you know what, this is enough nonsense. This is a game. You guys are getting paid millions of dollars to play a freaking game, all right? Get out there and play the game, shut your traps, and do what you're supposed to do. Win me a Super Bowl. That's the whole point of the NFL. Go out there and win me a daggum Super Bowl. And if you don't like it, you don't have to play for my team. So he would be the most popular person in the country. He may not have a team for very long, but that's the prerogative of the NFL and the other owners too. So we're going to take a real quick break, and we will come right back with some more jolly old fun with the NFL. Yay. right, we're back, and I got to tell you, I had a comment a couple weeks ago or something like that you don't really need to take these breaks. Yeah, I really do need to take these breaks. These breaks sometimes are more for me than they are for you. Maybe people don't like to hear the droning constantly. They need it broken up. Well, sometimes I get so heated about this stuff where I can feel it coming on. I can feel the temper just bubbling up, and it's going to, overflow one of these days to the point where I'm just breaking stuff. So I take I take these breaks to I don't know. I take these breaks to just give me a breather, to calm my chi, as it were. And then I get back to it, and I ramp it back up. It looks like a sine wave. The sine wave. You have the hills and the valleys. And so I come back from the break, and up goes, it's like the roller coaster. And you go tick, 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 up, and then whoosh down. And at the base of that roller coaster, you're freaking out, and you take a break, you take a breath, and you're all good. So that's why we have these breaks. It's not just for you, the watcher or the listener. It's for the people behind the microphone or in front of the camera that need a breather and need to kind of gather their thoughts, for want of a better term. All right, where were we? Okay, an estimated 200 players, IBD continues, an estimated 200 players knelt during the protests this weekend, some this weekend, which was last weekend. Some joined by team owners. How special was that? Yay, let's all link arms. That didn't take long to ramp up. Others, such as the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Tennessee Titans, and the Seahawks, freaking Seahawks, simply didn't come out of their locker rooms for the anthem. One notable exception, we all know about Alejandro Villanueva, he's the lineman for I am a lineman for the county. No, that was Glenn Campbell. Sorry. He's the lineman for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was also a West Point grad, and he was an Army Rangers. And any Rangers out there, you know the creed, you know the motto, Rangers lead the way. So he was leading the way out of the tunnel. Good for him. And he caught some flack from the coach for doing it, because they wanted unity. Did you hear what, who was that? Aaron Rodgers said that they wanted the fans to link arms in unity. Well, unity in what? Unity in social justice? Well, we don't give a crap about your daggum social justice. So when the Baltimore Ravens and the Jacksonville Jaguars played over the weekend in London, now dig this. This is freaking fabulous. And this just goes to show you just how stupid these people are. They're not stupid, they're ignorant, and they're utterly ill-advised, and they know nothing of history. When the Baltimore Ravens and Jacksonville Jaguars played over the weekend in London, they protested there too. They're in London. Why not? Yet, as Nate Jackson of the Patriots Post reminds us, they stood for the UK's anthem, God Save the Queen. Yes, God Save the Queen. God save the one who can't see what's outrageous. That's what he said. God save the Queen. Who did we have a Revolutionary War against? Oh, that's right. It was Great Britain. The Queen. Well, the King back then, but it's the Queen now. So we're going to stand for God Save the Queen. We're going to stand for the symbol of a country. It's so ridiculous. It's comical. All the black players and whatnot are going to stand for the symbol of a country who arguably brought slavery to the United States. I mean, that's how little these dimwits know. That's how little these dimwits are thinking about this. And this is what I mean by it's driven by peer pressure. A few people of import in the league start doing this, and then the rest of the people are hangers-on, and they don't dare go against it because you're either an Uncle Tom or you're a racist. You have to conform at this point. The left requires conformity. Funny how they always say that conservatives require conformity, but we don't. Okay, we're outside the box thinkers. You can think and do whatever you like within reason, all right? But liberals absolutely require 100% conformity, and that's what this is. That's why I say it's peer-driven. The NFL's official response was pathetically tone-deaf and could have been written by the NFL Players Union. Who knows? Who says it wasn't? Heck, maybe it was. Oh, excuse me. NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell castigated Trump for his divisive comments. What's more divisive than this? And an unfortunate lack of respect for the NFL. A lack of respect for the NFL? What about respect for the nation's flag and its anthem? How about we cut the crap on the flag and the anthem? And how about what about respect for America? All right? Everybody, all these social justice warriors think America is the worst place on earth. Well, try going somewhere and living somewhere else. All right? And America may be the worst place on earth except for every other place on earth. It's just ridiculous. And these Nimrods, they know not what they do. What about respect for your own fans? Good point. Many of whom still believe that America, though not perfect, who says it is the greatest country on earth. Hey, is there an echo in here? Echo, echo, echo. It's no wonder that many of the protests were met with a chorus of boos. You know, the interesting thing about this whole thing, I also like golf. It's weird because I love golf too. I am a fan of the ultimate contact sports. I only played contact sports because I loved hitting people. I played hockey, I wrestled, I played football, and I played lacrosse. I didn't play baseball because what do? You stand around in a field and then maybe a baseball comes to you every once in a while and you get an at-bat every once in a while. Wow. If they had full contact baseball, maybe. You run down the bases and you lay the guy out if you I don't know. Same with basketball. Yeah, soccer, I guess you could say it's full contact, but it kind of ain't. But the weird thing is I love golf. And I was watching the President's Cup this weekend. And the odd thing about it is that, and I actually made some notes while I was watching this. And it was a stark contrast watching the President's Cup. And if you don't know anything about golf or the President's Cup, well, I'm not going to explain golf to you. You can look that up or ask somebody. But the President's Cup it's USA versus the world. All right? So you have the best players from the USA that are chosen for the team and the best players from, I think they represented 8 different countries this time around. And they either go to Europe or they come to the United States or something like that. And they play all weekend in different formats, either singles, doubles, different types of matches. And the common refrain for everybody is, oh, well, it's golf. A, it's not a real sport. Try playing it sometime. Tell me it's not a real freaking sport. And B, it's just for spoiled white guys, okay, that don't know anything. They're not down for the struggle, and they don't know anything about a lack of respect or social justice or any other than that. But then they did some backstories on a couple of the American players, and I was awestruck by this because I didn't know this. I don't follow these guys. I know, I was a big fan of Nicholas and Palmer and those guys. Phil Mickelson has always been my favorite. But I don't really get into their backgrounds because I'm just not that interested. But they interviewed a couple of golfers because they're in Jersey City playing this tournament, and right in the bay there is the Statue of Liberty and Ellis Island. So they were talking about immigration and whatnot. And they interviewed Matt Kuchar. And if anyone knows golf, everybody loves Cooch. Everybody loves Matt Kuchar. And he just looks like your typical white player, all right? Typical white American player. It turns out that his ancestor, over 100 years ago, his ancestors came off of the boat from Ukraine, didn't speak a word of English, and immigrated through Ellis Island. So he goes back to Ellis Island, And they came here to be American citizens. They didn't come here to just live in America. They didn't come here to sponge off the fruit of others' labors. They came in here, they busted their butts, and his great-grandfather or something like that, joined the military and fought in World War I because he loved the country and because he just loved America and he wanted to be an American. So that's a real patriot. And then another one, the quintessential white bread whitey cracker, Ricky Fowler. A very popular golfer, really good golfer. But to look at him, he looks like a California, or used to look like a California bum. Surfed and rode motorcycles and everything else. Typical California kid. Turns out his grandfather was a Japanese American. And during World War II, at the ripe old age of 8 years old, his grandfather was interned by your hero and mine, the leftist hero, FDR, was put in an internment camp for Japanese Americans. His whole family was put in there for, I can't remember how long, but it was quite a while, at the ripe old age of 8 years old. So you don't think that this guy knows struggle? He knows freaking struggle because he came from it. And his grandfather was living proof of it. So give me a freaking break. So we're going to take another quick break and we'll be right back.
You're listening to The Common Constitutionalist. Let the truth be known.
Okay, we are back for I'm sure the final segment at this point, as I'm starting to get a little bit heated again. And again, the golf thing kind of talked me off the ledge a little bit, but that was really fascinating, particularly that Ricky Fowler, because he doesn't look it, but he's of Japanese and American heritage. And to be put in a concentration camp in your own country just because you're a different race, gee, sound familiar, does it? All social justice warriors, but you don't see Ricky Fowler joining in the parade of linking arms or kneeling because they don't like the flag or they think it's this nation is unjust. His family came out of World War II, picked up the pieces, put their boots on, and went on with their lives and made successes of themselves instead of whining and bitching and moaning about how bad America is. So anyway, they go on. IBD goes on to talk about the ratings that are all down across the board. Ratings are down for all these games, and the interesting thing is they say they actually get from the TV networks, the 4 or 5 TV networks that present NFL games every week, Monday night, Sunday night, Thursday night, and then Sunday afternoon, Sunday whatever, and then the morning games on the in Great Britain. They get more than $7 billion a year from these networks for the privilege of playing these NFL games. So these guys are cutting off. They're shooting the goose that laid the golden eggs, because if the TV money dries up, that's it. The NFL is pretty much done. And then you couple this with the new CTE thing, the brain scan deal with the concussions, that the Aaron Hernandez thing. I don't know if you guys heard about that. That Aaron Hernandez had severe CTE and was impaired, and so his family is trying to get the murder rap somehow. I don't know if it's going to be reversed, but whatever. And this is going to reopen the door. The NFL already has, I believe it's like a $1 billion fund that everybody draws from. You don't think that that's going to be going up anytime soon? Heck yeah, it is. Because these players want what they want, and they think they've been wronged by the NFL, and they think they've been wronged by America, and they're going to take and take and take, and they're going to want more and more and more, and they're just like the social justice warriors, just like the left, in everything that they do, politics, whatever it happens to be, they're going to push the envelope. And you agree to something, you compromise on the right or whatever. The owners will compromise with the players. and then they're going to push it a little further, and they're going to push it a little further until they ruin the product completely. And it's just, the NFL football isn't going to be going the way of the dodo anytime soon, but they are in the process of ruining the game. Between the the backlash of the violence of the game, it's football. It's tackle football. If you've ever played the game, you're going to get hurt. Things are going to happen. It's tragic, but that's just the way it is. Sorry. If you don't like it, don't play it. Okay? Find something else to do. But they were saying that the IBD, because it's a financial publication more than anything else, they also said that this past month the stock market was up more than 2%, but every single one of these holding companies, Comcast, Walt Disney, Fox, CBS, and whatever, they were all down between 1% and 8%. At the same time, the general stock market was all up 2%. Might it be coincidence? Maybe one or two, but all of them down simultaneously? Nah, there's definitely something wrong there, and we know what the something is. So it's the everybody's, that's the whole beef for the NFL fan like me. It's the politicization of the NFL, of a sport. Like I said, we go to football games, we go to the stadiums, or we sit down with our buddies and we turn off everything else. We turn off the rest of the world, and it's an escape mechanism, just like any other sport that people enjoy. It is escape, so you can go and just not worry about your problems for 2 or 3 hours during a weekend day and just watch football. And then you get accosted by the social justice bullcrap, where you, as a white guy, are sitting here watching these overpaid prima donnas on the TV complain about how put upon and how oppressed they are. And it's just too much for a lot of people, and I understand it. I don't necessarily agree, because I just tune it out or turn it off until the game starts, and then I watch football. And then any time that there's a commercial break, or at halftime when they're going to start, when they're going to recap before the game, I'll turn that off. I don't care. I don't play fantasy. It doesn't make any difference to me. I just watch football because I love it, and most people watch football as an escape. They watch it because they can just turn off their brains and watch it because it's a sport that they love to watch. That's what sports is all about. They're supposed to be fun. They're not supposed to be controversial, and you don't need to get some jive blanking message. Here we go. Who needs it? I certainly don't. I know enough about this crap already. I don't need to be lectured by the likes of you morons. Neither does anyone else. And you don't want, and as a white guy, I don't need to be lectured on how evil I was or am, how my ancestors put upon your ancestors. Okay, whatever. Find a slave in the United States, you know what I mean, and we'll pay them reparations. But you can't, because it's been a long time. Well, you can go out in the world and find plenty of them, because slavery is a bigger business worldwide now than it was back during the revolutionary times and prior to the Civil War. It's a fact. Look it up. I've about had enough of this nonsense, and I hope I don't have to write about this, and I'm not compelled to talk about the NFL anymore, because I'm just sick and tired of the whole daggum thing. This is the Common Constitutionalist signing off. Y'all have a great weekend. Hopefully the games will go off without a hitch today, and at least we can hope for the best. And if you're watching it on TV, just turn it off until the game starts. Don't watch the pregame, because you're just going to upset yourself over this whole nonsense. And that's that. Common Constitutionalist, I'm out. See you.